Kathmandu Durbar Square, Basantapur Darbar Kshetra, in front of the old royal palaces of the former Kathmandu Kingdom, is one of the three Darbar royal palaces squares in the Kathmandu Valley in Nepal, all of which are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Several buildings in the square collapsed due to a major earthquake on 25th April 2015. Darbar Square was surrounded with spectacular architecture and vividly showcased the skills of the Newar artists and craftsmen over several centuries. The Kathmandu Durbar Square held the palaces of the Malla and Shah kings who ruled over the city. Along with these palaces, the square surrounds quadrangles revealing courtyard and temple. It is known as Hanuman Dhoka Durbar Square, a name derived from a statue of Hanuman, the monkey devotee of Lord Ram, at the entrance of the palace. History and construction. The preference for the construction of royal palaces at these sites dates back to as early as the Lichavi period in the 3rd century. Even though the present palaces and temples have undergone repeated and extensive renovations and nothing physical remains from the period. Names like Gunapo and Gupo, which are the names referred to the palaces in the square in early scripture, imply that the palaces were built by Gunakamdev, a king ruling late in the 10th century when Kathmandu city became independent under the rule of King Ratnamalla 1484-1520 AD. The palaces in the square became the royal palaces for its Malla kings. When Prithvinarayan Shah invaded the Kathmandu Valley in 1769 AD, he favored the Kathmandu Darbar Square for his palace. Other subsequent Shah kings continued to rule from the square until 1896 when they moved to the Narayanhiti Palace. The square is still the center of important royal events like the coronation of King Virendra Bir Bikram Shah in 1975 and King Gyananda Bir Bikram Shah in 2001. Though there are no written archives stating the history of Kathmandu Darbar Square, construction of the palace in the square is credited to Shankardev 1069 to 1086 AD. As the first king of the independent Kathmandu city, Ratnamalla is said to have built the Talaji temple in the northern side of the palace in 1501. For this to be true, when the temple would have had to have been built in the Bihara style as part of the palace premises surrounding the Mulchok courtyard, for no evidence of a separate structure that would match this temple can be found within the square. Construction of the Cornel Chowk is not clearly stated in any historical inscription, although it is probably the oldest among all the courtyards in the square. The Bhagwati temple, originally known as a Narayan temple, rises above the mansions surrounding it and was added during the time of Jagajay Malla in the early 18th century. The Narayan idol within the temple was stolen, so Prithvi Narayan Shah replaced it with an image of Bhagwati, completely transforming the name of the temple. The old temples in the square are those built by Mahendra Malla 1560 to 1574. There are the temples of Jagannath, Kotilingeshwar Mahadev, Mahendra Swara and the Talaji temple. This three-roofed Talaji temple was established in the 1564 in a typical Newari architecture style and is elevated on a platform that form a pyramid-like structure. It is said that Mahendra Malla, when he was residing in Bhaktapur, was highly devoted to the Talaji temple there. The goddess, being pleased with his devotion, gave him a vision asking him to build a temple for her in the Kathmandu Durbar Square. With the help of a hermit, he designed the temple to give it its present form, and the goddess entered the temple in the form of a bee. His successful Sadashiva 1575-1581, his son Shiva Simha and his grandson Lakshmi Narsingh 1619-1641 do not seem to have made any major additions to the square during this period of 3 generations. The only constructions to have occurred were the establishment of Regulate temple dedicated to goddess Mother Taleju by Shivasima and some enhancement in the royal palace by Lakshmi Narasimha Simha under Pratap Malla. In the time of Pratap Malla, the square was extensively developed. He was an intellectual, pious devotee and especially interested in arts. He called himself a Kavindra, king of poets, and boasted that he was learned in 15 different languages. A passionate builder, following his coronation as a king, he immediately began enlargement to his royal palace and rebuilt some old temples and constructed new temples, shrines and stupas around his kingdom. Indrapur temple left and Vishnu temple right at the Kathmandu Durbar Square. During the construction of his palace, he added a small entrance in the traditional low and narrow Newar style. The door was elaborately decorated with carving and painting of deities and auspicious signs and was later transferred to the entrance of Mulchok. In front of the entrance, he placed the statue of Hanuman, thinking that Hanuman, monkey god, would strengthen his army and protect his home. The entrance leads to Nasal Chowk, the courtyard where most royal events such as coronation, performance and yajnas, holy fire rituals, take place. It was named after Nasadeh, the god of dance, and during the time of Pratap Malla, the sacred mask dance dramas performed in Nasal Chowk were widely famed. In one of these dramas, it is said that Pratap Malla himself played the role of Lord Vishnu and that the spirit of the Lord remained in the king's body even after the play. After consulting his tantric leaders, he ordered a strong image of Lord Vishnu in his incarnation as Narasimha, the half lion and half human form, and then transferred the spirit into the stone. This fine image of Narasimha, made in 1673, still stands in the Nasal Chowk in 1650. He commissioned for the construction of Moon Chowk in the palace. This chowk remained the royal residential courtyard for many years and is believed to store a great amounts of treasure under its surface. Pratap Malla also built Sundari Chowk about this time. He placed a slab engraved with lines in 15 languages and proclaimed that he can understand the inscription would produce the flow of milk instead of water from Tutethara water tap, a fountain set in the outer walls of Mulchok. However elaborate his construction may have been, they were not simply intended to emphasize his luxurious but also his and the importance of other devotion towards such deities. He made extensive donations to temples and had the order once renovated. Next to the palace, he built a Krishna temple, the Bangsagopal, in an occasional shape in 1649. He dedicated this temple to his two Indian wives, Rupmati and Rajamati, as both had died during the year it was built in Mulchok. He erected a three-roofed Agamchem temple and a unique temple with 5 superimposing roofs. After completing restoring the Mulchok, he donated to the adjoining Taleju temple. To the main temple of Taleju, he donated metal doors in 1670. He rebuilt the Degule temple built by his grandfather Shivasimha and the Taleju temple in the palace square. As a substitute to the Indreswara Mahadev temple in the distant village of Panoti, he built a Shiva temple Indrapura near his palace in the square. He carved hands on the walls of the Jagannath temple as praise to Taleju in the form of Kali. At the southern end of the square near Kathmandu at Maru, which was the main city crossroad for early traders, he built another pavilion named Kavindapura, the mansion of the king of poets. In this mansion, he set an idol of dancing Shiva, Dasadeva, which today is highly worshipped by dancers in the Valley Kathmandu. Sanskrit Nepali Bhasha, Maru Satta. Literally, wood-carved shelter was a 3-storied public shelter that included a shrine concreted to Gorakhnath, situated at Moru, Kathmandu, Nepal. Several myths and stories about the date of the construction of the Kathmandu temple have been resolved with the recent archaeological finding. The newly discovered objects during the excavation here in the aftermath of the 2015 earthquake have suggested that the Kathmandu may have been built in the 7th century during the Lichavi era. Before this, it was assumed that the Kathmandu was built in around the 12th century. A team of international and national experts from the Department of Archaeology, Government of Nepal and Durham University had excavated beneath the Kathmandu and found coal and sand in the foundation. The foundation soil, coal and sand were taken to the University of Stirling, Scotland for carbon and optically stimulated luminescence test. Nearly 7 months of lab tests showed that the Kathmandu temple was built in the 7th century. Senior archaeologist Khos Prasad Acharya, who was involved in the team led by experts from Durban University, said that the result of the lab test of the coal found during the excavation proved that it was 2200 years old and it was a farming land before the construction of the Kathmandu. The team is now carrying out excavation works of the Kathmandu with the financial and technological support of the National Geographic Society and Art and Humanities Research Council. It is said that the Kathmandu was built from the timber of a single tree. Scientific tests of the sample wood are also being conducted to see if this is the case. It was revealed that there was no fault with the construction of the Kathmandu foundation, but a fault was found in the construction process above it. Among the 4 pillars, one was negligently erected, which led to the destruction of Kathmandu in the earthquake, said the experts. On 25th April 2050, Kathmandu temple, along with many others on the Kathmandu Durbar Square, was damaged and collapsed by the April Nepal earthquake, which had an estimated magnitude of 7.9. During the excavation, copper plate inscription mentioning of Jai Sthiti Malla, Jyoti Malla and Yagmati Bhatrika have been recovered from a pillar of the Kathmandu temple. In the manuscript dated Nepal Sambat 499, 454 and 543 AD 1288, it is written that the person responsible for operating the Pasali Bhairav Jatra has to organize the festival following the specific regulation. The foundation of the heritage site was found strongly built using traditional methods. During the cleaning of the debris, more damage was done by the use of dozers, they said. And local mothers group organized Newar food festival in every last month of Nepali calendar or second week Saturday of English calendar.